Baby, it's cold outside.
Very good.
Wow, Sinner. That song.
That's a classic Christmas
It
movie.
really is.
And that scene's a fun scene, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Nice, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to that album.
That's
That'll be a treat.
world's best Christmas song.
for two
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Two guys who hate musicals.
Yes. We just sang.
You guys crushed that. Good job.
And later we can snuggle.
Tickle fight.
Tickle fight.
Okay.
So again, back to Real Profs classics.
A true classic, by the way, finally.
Yes.
Wow.
We got past the nightmare.
Yes.
Now
It was a nightmare.
Elf.
Yes.
So Elf, a holiday evergreen classic.
Yes.
A gift that keeps on giving.
It really is.
Every holiday season.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I see dead people.
Hasta la vista, baby.
You can't handle the truth!
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Let's get into it. We'll kind of talk about it. And so again, central message is not unsimilar from other central messages that we've had before, right?
Yeah.
The search for identity.
Yep.
Who are we? What's
That
our
theme
purpose?
is just ginormous throughout all
again, you
movies.
see it as a constant theme because that's what people they want to know.
If anybody has confidence in their identity, it is believers, because we have the actual biblical understanding of what identity in Christ means, right? So it makes sense that unbelievers in their art are searching for identity and a movement in a journey of existential crisis to something better, right? It does make sense.
Right. And I think it's one of those things too where I don't think that they set out to. Like, I don't think they said, I'm going to write a Christmas movie where a large elf tries to find himself. You know, that's not what they do.
Yeah.
But again, talking about the key components of, existence, they can't help themselves, right? So obviously the central theme of this one. But let's kind of get into Elf and talk about some stuff like the demonstration. We'll talk about like maybe the demonstration of how Buddy, he is basically an adult child, right? He's a man child.
I mean, so much so that he's eating gum off of the rails.
Yes.
Like not just a child, but kind of
An idiot.
Yeah, like
right?
like come on, dude.
There's
he was even
naivete.
told, he's like, okay, because Santa knew, but
Yes.
like this guy is an idiot,
Yep.
so don't eat that stuff. And every time I watch it, I'm like, that's disgusting.
It is gross, right?
You're kind of like, I'm going to look away.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he still does it.
So there's some scenes in that movie, especially some of the stuff they were shooting in New York, where, again, Will Ferrell was not the household name at the time. This is the movie that really made him a star. And so he was walking around in that suit, jumping across the street where he does that. People walking around him had no idea what this dude, they just saw. And again, it's New York, right? So most people just ignore it. LA would be like, what's this guy doing? New Yorkers are like, whatever, it's just another guy in
get out of
an
my
elf
way.
suit bouncing around. So let's kind of talk about how the film kind of talks about some of his Buddy's qualities, like kindness, perseverance, forgiveness, kind of throughout the story.
Yeah, he's a curious guy, right? He's always seeking to understand others around him. You see a gentle warmth to him. I mean, even to the point where he wants to hug a raccoon that like tears him up, to hugging an angry elf from the South Pole, right? Which isn't really, And so you do see like he's exiled to the mailroom because his dad doesn't want him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the juxtaposition between Buddy.
Yeah, just let me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just one thing.
Will you let him
Like,
finish?
I thought he was done.
No,
I'm sorry.
he's always waiting at the moment to just.
That's the director part of him.
Yeah, we're just kind of.
But he's in a mailroom, relegated to the mailroom because his dad doesn't want him, and he even befriends like a guy that just got released from jail, and it becomes his friend and is an encourager. Like that's the one thing that if you look at Buddy, he is an example of an encourager. He constantly is encouraging people in the film all throughout, and that's one of the things that I think resonates and why I really appreciate it is that that he gives secular, vivid portrayal of what an encourager does when they're around, because people just they like him usually.
Yeah, well, I have where his joy, his innocent kind of really contrasts the cynics that are surrounding him within the film. And everywhere he goes, there's always joy that's put in, from the house that he decorates with Christmas to, like you said, down in the mailroom. He gets now, granted, there was reasons they started dancing and singing, but
that's true.
It's still, everything surrounds him he wants to bring joy. And that's part of pushing Santa's message that he had been raised on. So, but it's true. Everywhere he goes, he pushes that. It's great.
Can I talk now?
Yes, please.
Okay, good.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
If you got,
you really see that in.
Just it's what I do.
The other thing. Oh wait, sorry. I had to go one more time.
So talk about, building off of that, the juxtaposition between Walter, his dad, and how his focus is, right? To really highlight Buddy, you need the opposite.
Totally. And behind the two characters really is this childlike wonderment, and then the doldrums of adult duty and expectation, right? And Walter has succumbed to the materialistic, gotta work, and has ignored what's really valuable. Buddy is he doesn't have the responsibility, but he is always has the concept of people are important, where Walter is people are unimportant, they're means to an end type of idea, just to get his work done. He doesn't even care about hanging out with his family. He takes his meal and goes into the room. All those kinds of things show you that Walter is just he's bought into the corporate world of work, and ignore everything else.
Doesn't care about children, right? At the end of the book, it leaves out those last 2 pages. Doesn't cost them money.
Right.
They don't need to know the end of the story.
Exactly.
What do they care?
Right. Talk about how, then, do we ever see a blending of, if you've got this child wonderment but lack of maturity, and then you've got the cynic, willing to work but cynical towards everything else? Do we ever see a blending where we actually see a positive representation of the two of them kind of coming together?
Yeah, I think you see it at the end, especially in Zoe's character, and he now has a baby, and he is being an adult. He still has his goofy child, but he's wrote a book. He's successful. So you do see his character embrace more of that adulting, while still holding on to his childlike charm.
I would say Zoe a little bit, though, blends it throughout the movie.
Totally.
She's a little bit of Walter. She's a little bit of Elf, of Will's character, in there, where she's a little bit of a cynic, but when they kind of finally go out on that first date, right? She recognized his joy of Christmas trees, loved seeing his childlikeness, said, "Oh, have I got the tree for you?" So she was aware of all those things, knew all those things.
And there's something attractive about that kind of a person who is excited about life, who is really serving you, and then you want to serve that person. Oh, well, look at this tree type of thing.
So we work with students, a lot, and that's one of the things I always try and encourage them toward. Listen, you surround yourself with the type of people that are going to uplift you and build you up, and be an encouragement. Because again, if you surround yourself with, let's say, the Walters, all right, you are going to take on that persona, and you're going to start to be cynical and be negative. But so surround yourself with people. The same thing, and again, I think this cross applies to the social media you work in.
Oh yeah.
So if all you're doing is if your feed is filled with negativity and sinful stuff, well, that's what your mind is gonna veer towards that.
Exactly.
So you need to be on stuff that's going to be encouraging and uplifting you towards holiness.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm done then. If you agreed with that.
So Elf, one of the things that he does, right, as we kind of were talking about, is he spreads cheer, right? But he also has this belief in something greater, and that's why he pushes that, or he does that so hard, because of what was really indoctrinated him as a young child in the elf kingdom. What do you call it? Elf world? I don't know what you call it. The North Pole. Well, okay, fine, whatever. If you want to go, it does have narwhals.
If you want to be technical,
If you want to be technical,
hope you find your dad.
Hope you find your dad.
If it's theology, you could remember.
Yes.
If it's
pop culture,
stupid stuff, you come to
Exactly.
me.
No, it's pop culture.
It's North.
You're
North Pole.
brilliant at
Yes.
pop culture.
Oh my gosh.
The Greco-Roman North Pole character that we have. Anyways, yeah. So he believes in something greater.
Yeah.
That's why he always has that joy.
Which in this film obviously is Christmas, right?
Yes.
And that kind of whole atmosphere that it brings, which should be a joyous, and even for the unbelieving world, it's often considered a joyous time of year, right? There's many Christmas songs that are built on that kind of theme.
Yeah. And I think what you see is the world's view of what belief is. Something that you just do. You believe in belief itself.
Yeah.
It's magical. It powers the sleigh or whatever. And then when you contrast that to what is biblical belief, it is a trust, a confidence in the person and work of Christ. Right there.
Someone else than yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And and so you do have that interesting dynamic of just the Christmas good feel belief in Santa when actually what you do, I think what the movie shows is adults finally getting back in touch with their childlike selves. So you see that in Buddy's character moving to Walter, but you also see all the adults. The kids automatically believe they have that childlike faith, and the adults are still struggling, even the female reporter, right, until she gets outed for wanting to be engaged and her boyfriend's dragging his feet, right, and they do that whole thing, and the kids or the adults start believing, and that's really what empowers the sled to do its thing. And I think so it's trying to hit at this idea of believing in something better and greater than yourself. It just misses the point completely, obviously, from a theological perspective.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And one of the things that we don't ever want, I don't like to over spiritualize those movies. That's what we talk about. Don't bring in.
Yeah, I'm the Debbie Downer when it comes to that.
Right.
That's the whole purpose behind this.
Yes. Yeah. But one of the things I think is interesting when you look at it is you see that he has a belief in something greater and the joy he has about that. And because of that belief in something greater, he wants everybody to know about that. And even in the midst of, I guess, trials that he's going through, he still has that joy and he's still looking for ways to do that. You see him after his dad is like, I don't ever want to see you again. He's out on a bridge and he sees Santa. It's like instantly, I've got to go down and I've got to go help Santa. And he's looking, again, like you talked about, to serve others. But I think that goes into that reality as we realize there's something outside of ourselves as our search for this identity. We've seen all these movies. And that's kind of what you see within this, that this joy he gets by serving somebody else, by spreading that joy, spreading that cheer. It's really us as Christians should be like, and again, not to over spiritualize the movie.
Right.
But
Because the movie is not doing
it's
that.
not that.
But you can take that as a vivid portrayal and then say, okay, how as believers should we think about that? And I think that's what, for me, that's what I love about this podcast is we separate the trying to force Christian values in a movie versus this is what it's portraying.
Right.
Yes.
And then here are what the Christian true values, truth, scriptural understanding of something and evaluate it. And then you can learn from that, right? It's an illustration. It's a application, if you will, as you look at it and we think through. Like, I think about it, like, I want to be an encourager, right? And I don't go to Buddy the Elf. I go to Barnabas, right? Barnabas is the ultimate, his name means son of encourager, right? And so but you can see how that affects people and say, yeah, I want to do that for the glory of the Lord. And this is how you do it. You go to Scripture and you think through how can you be one who encourages and look at examples from a biblical perspective. And totally, I think that's what's kind of central to what we do.
They messed up. They should have called him Barnabas the Elf rather than Buddy the Elf.
Well, when you do the sequel, when you do the remake.
That's right.
You can do
Barnabas can be his awkward cousin.
Yes. I play that role well.
Who disagrees with somebody and then has to part ways.
That's true.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Real Profs, a production of the Center for Thinking Biblically. To support this ministry, please visit thinkbiblically.org/donate.
To learn more about the Masters University on-campus and online undergraduate and graduate programs, visit masters.edu.